Hello, everyone. Andrew here for Drudette. Almost said Drudette Adventures. That channel's dead. For Drudette Entertainment, back with Breaking Rocks episode, whatever the fuck it says, 15, I think. The Book of Boba Fett episode 5. Review, spoiler warning, as it says in the thing. Where to begin with this, Josh?
It's a mixed bag because it's possibly one of their best episodes, in my opinion, though. But it has nothing to do with Boba Fett. Boba Fett is not even in this at all. So it's just like, okay, what am I thinking here?
There are two thoughts from me at this point. One, the last two episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, I'm going to start filming my reactions for YouTube for. So next Wednesday, expect my reaction to what I'm watching for the Book of Boba Fett here on this channel next Wednesday, before we do this Wednesday afternoon or whenever we do it on Wednesday for reviewing the thing. But because of that was the reaction I had at the end of this episode. I was laying on my futon just laughing my ass off going, Boba Fett wasn't even in the episode. How is this an episode of the Book of Boba Fett? And as Echo Base pointed out, and I completely agree at this point, this was effectively a chapter 17 to season 2 of The Mandalorian. Because all we got in this was Mando going around doing shit with the Darksaber, getting thrown out of his little cult of Mandalorians who don't show their face, and ending up building a ship on Tatooine just so that What's-Her-Face can find him and try to hire him to help Boba.
Yeah, excuse me. That's the thing, though. Like, what kind of threw me off a little bit, though, is that they have for their ship, it's basically a Naboo starfighter. It's like, okay, Mando's gonna be in a starfighter. Like, it's nice. It's like what they would do with it, though. But it's just like coming from the Razor Crest to this, it's just like, okay. And one other little Easter egg they have in this video or this series is they have the little droid. I forget his name, but he's off the Jedi Fallen Order. That little droid that you're with.
BB-8 or no? That's not BB-8. That's from the other shit that we don't talk about. Yeah, I don't remember the droid's name.
It's that little small droid that goes along with you on the Jedi Fallen Order. But that was pretty awesome. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, but before I say what I want to say about the little droid, hail to Red Hood in the chat. I see you there. But when I saw the droid from Jedi Fallen Order, and we have no confirmation that is or is not that droid, all we're assuming is that it is, and if it is, my reaction when I saw the droid was I was thinking that it was, and then my next thought was, wait, are we about to see him too? Which we did not, because if we had, then I would have went, hang on, this makes no sense for the timeline for the game then. Because he's nowhere near Tatooine, but we didn't see him, it was just the droid. Which then also raises other questions. If that is that droid, how did he get from Tatooine to the planet where the main character in Jedi Fallen Order finds him? Because that's not on Tatooine. BD1, yeah. Thank you, Red Hood. Yeah, we're talking about BD1 because there was a BD1 droid in this episode. So, other than that, when we saw the first scene of this episode with the figure like standing on the other side of those silver strip things that you typically see when you go into a walk-in freezer, we figured it was Boba Fett. And then in walks Mando. I'm like, so they're doing this, okay. Little did I know that it was going to be episode 17 or whatever it was, or chapter 17 of the book of Mandalorian season 2, or the prologue to season 3. I don't know at this point. I lean towards the prologue of season 3 at this point.
Yeah.
Instead of an actual episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Which I'm not complaining. Far from it. In fact, in my opinion, to answer the question, even though this is breaking rocks, and not is it worth it, is this episode of the Book of Boba Fett worth it? Yeah, because it's not the Book of Boba Fett, it's the Mandalorian series at this point. So, this episode is worth watching. All the others prior? No. Which then also leads another thought from me. What the fuck does Disney and Lucasfilm have against Boba Fett? Because if you look at each episode up to this one, but not including episode 5, what has Boba Fett been allowed to do when it comes to defending himself? Don't worry, I'll wait. Exactly.
It seems like he always has like female counterpart, like kicking ass, and then he's always getting his ass. Just like, okay.
And then you got Mando, like in his own series, chopping motherfuckers in half with the Darksaber. What does Lucasfilm have against Boba Fett? Again, I ask. You do not give a character who's played by a black man, allow him to defend himself, and I know I'm playing the race card, but that's what they fucking do, so I'm throwing it right back in their fucking face. Yet you have the white guy chopping motherfuckers in half. Lucasfilm, you're coming across as racist here. How does it feel being told you're racist? How about that? It doesn't feel good, does it? Exactly. So quit calling your own fans fucking racist if you don't like it yourself. Anything you want to add, Josh?
For this episode, it just like seems like it's a prologue for these Mandalorian, but it was basically a whole episode just Mandalorian, which I don't mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, compared to like how Boba Fett's been treated and just like how the whole series is, just the whole series is just garbage. Like this episode was pretty good. It seems like they do a lot better when they're just doing just Mandalorian because basically they're just working with like new IPs and whatnot though. But like for Boba Fett, it's just I don't know what the hell they're thinking. They could have done like at least 2 episodes or whatnot though, with just flashbacks instead of just flashbacks left and right during the series though. It's like okay, there's another flashback.
And that's
goes nowhere with the story.
Yeah, and that's another thing with this just being about Mando. There was no flashbacks because Boba wasn't there. So
another surprise too is at the end. Basically, I believe we might be able to see Grogu again. Within the last 2 episodes, so because basically, I guess Mando has his spear forged into like something. That way he can give to Grogu. So, possibility Grogu's going to be in these next 2 episodes. It's for like a little throwback though. I don't know. It just seems like oh yeah, we're going to do like a crappy series for like 1 through 4 or like episodes 1 through 4, and then all of a sudden like I guess the last 3 episodes. Oh yeah, here's what you wanted is Mandalorian and Grogu and whatnot though at the very end. You know, it's just like. What are you guys doing? You should have had like something good with Dan Boba Fett, like the first 4 episodes. Just was a little garbage, I think.
Before we get back into that, I do want to say one thing. This channel is not monetized, so obviously there's no super chats or anything, which is why we treat the chat the way we do. Like, the whole chat is super chats at that point. So we got Red Hood in the chat saying and I believe he's talking about Boba Fett here. He's a male who needs to be shown that women are superior to the infamous bounty hunter. I'm sick of this crap. That's true, but that still doesn't excuse what is coming across as bigotry from Lucasfilm when they're treating a character played by an African American male completely differently than the character being treated or being played by one of their own, the guy who buys into the fake woke bullshit, who's a white man. It comes across as a little bigoted by Lucasfilm, from my point of view. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying it comes across as that. They might well be. And it certainly is feeling that way right now with the fact that you don't let Boba Fett, who is an established character in the Star Wars lore, be Boba Fett, defending himself like we saw him doing in the original trilogy. Yet you have a new character that you created slicing motherfuckers in half. Okay. So not only do you hate George Lucas's Star Wars, you hate the fans, you hate a black character. Anyone else get the feeling that Lucasfilm is actually projecting their own issues onto everyone else at this point?
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what they're doing. But thank you for that comment in the chat, Red Hood. That was good. But back to episode 5 here. Before we give our ratings of it, where do you see episode 6 going now?
Might be a whole nother episode of Mando, because basically at the end of the last episode 5, they're like, "Oh, I'll go with you for free, but I gotta do a couple other things. Gotta go from basically could possibly be another episode of Mando going to go see Grogu, and it's impossible to go see Grogu. Luke Skywalker might be there as well too. Not trying to give anybody's hopes up though. Don't quote me on that though, but that's just speculation.
I want to point something out with the thumbnail though that I used. I posted that before seeing the episode. So with Luke Skywalker laughing in the thumbnail, that was just me trying to be funny. I had no idea that we were going to get this for an episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Oh dear. You didn't notice that with the ST, them projecting their issues on us. Pretty much. So with that in mind, what was your favorite part of this episode? Because there's a lot to pick from for the first time in the Book of Boba Fett.
Don't really have a favorite part, but I did like how they kind of like had Mando with this that guy in half and carry his head around in a bag with blood dripping. I'm like, okay, but when did the episode become pretty damn violent? You know, like out of all the episodes of like Mando and whatnot though, and Boba Fett, it hasn't been like really that brutal with violence though. But like with this one, it's just they split him in half. It's like, wow. Jeez.
Yeah, and some people, some defenders of Disney, let's call them that, have been saying about the Boba Fett, well, we haven't been seeing violence because it's Disney. What about now? Yeah, crickets, exactly. Because they got nothing to say when it's Mando, but they'll defend the bullshit of Disney with, well, Boba Fett can't do this because X, Y, and Z, but Mando's allowed to. It's still Disney. You know that, right? Yeah. But with that in mind, as far as this being a Book of Boba Fett episode, every episode up to this point has scored somewhere between 3, 4, or 5 from us collectively here for Drudat Entertainment. Where does the Book of Episode 5 stand with you, Joshy?
Probably gonna be my highest rating.
Well, that's obvious.
8 and 8.
For the first time in talking about the Book of Boba Fett, I'm at an 8 as well. So Joshy and I finally agree on a rating of an episode. But here's why it's an 8. Like I said previously, this comes across as either the epilogue for season 2 of the book of the Mandalorian or the prologue for season 3 of it. This does not come across as episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett at all. But we hadn't seen anything that extreme in Disney Star Wars till now. Well, it's about fucking time, Red Hood. Because Disney needs to lean into the fact that Star Wars fans aren't just children. Star Wars fans are, in the case of my mom, somewhere in her 60s. She was an original Star Wars fan in theaters when the first one came out, better known to the younger crowd as A New Hope. Then me being her offspring is the second generation of Star Wars fans, and if I have kids, and so on. So even the kids of Star Wars are now adults at that point. I'm not saying kids don't watch it, because obviously those that grew up with Star Wars, like myself, if we have kids, well, when Star Wars was good, we were going to have our kids enjoying Star Wars with us. Not so much now, but the fact that Mando is being that brutal is good, in my opinion. Josh?
Yeah, like I've seen the first original Star Wars a long time ago, like when I was a kid. But then, like when they started the prequels, like that's when I was able to go in theaters and actually watch all of them. And then
Same here.
all of a sudden the Disney sequel came out, and I bought some outrageous tickets with the vibrating seats that like move and whatnot. Though the theaters for the what is it, the first one, number 7 or whatever, and then like 8 we went to see it, and I'm like, yeah. That's when I became kind of like hooked on to Geeks and Gamers, like right after that. And then they like I've heard all the rumors and whatnot though for the what is it, the last one. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna see it. But then my ex was like, let's go see it. All right.
To a degree right now, I wish Mara wasn't busy teaching kids right now, so she could be in the chat to hear you talk about vibrating seats. That was the first thing that crossed my mind when you're talking about like vibrating seats in a movie theater, because I pictured like Mara like not giving a shit about the movie at that point. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But that's why we love Mara. So, but for me, there are several ways that I'm taking this. As a Mandalorian series episode, this is an 8 out of 10 for sure. As an episode of the Book of Boba Fett, I'm torn between this being a 0 out of 10 because he wasn't in it at all. Only she was at the end to mention that, yeah, it's still an episode of that series, just to try to bring you back in to go, yeah. Just to remind you, this isn't an episode of The Mandalorian that we accidentally slipped in, even though it feels like it. So it's either a 0 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 because Beta Fett wasn't in it. So no flashbacks, no bullshit, no Power Rangers on bikes. And like Red Hood said in the chat, actual fucking like people getting chopped in half. You know, like Mandalorian shit.
Yeah, there was vibrating seats like back in the what is it? What the first was it episode 7 of Star Wars did come out though? Like it was like vibrating seats and they kind of moved too. So I was like, all right, I'll try that out because this is brand new Star Wars. I spent a pretty penny on it. I spent, I don't know, I forget how much money on it though I spent, but like yeah, I basically paid for the whole family, which is like 4 people.
I can tell you that I will say this: when I went to see The Last Jedi in theaters, I had a date for it, and I used to date this girl. But if there had been vibrating seats in that theater, I wouldn't have had a good time. I know that she would have. That's for sure. She would have had a great time. I would have been confused and would have not had a good time because I would have been going, I wish this seat would turn off. And the movie's killing our childhood. Well, I'm glad you're getting off at that point. But yeah. Thank God there's no vibrating seats in the theater in my town that I'm aware of at this point, although I haven't been to the theater since the fall of Skywalker, so. But either way, so for me, episode 5 is somewhere between, as far as a Book of Boba Fett episode goes, I'm gonna just call it a 0 out of 10 because it comes across as an episode of the Mandalorian series. When you title a series after a character, they should be in it. Even though him not being in it made the episode 100 times better because of how they've been writing him, actually giving Boba Fett lines, and just horribly misusing him. And the fact that we got this shows the hypocrisy at Disney and Lucasfilm with the treatment of Boba Fett. They care more about their own characters than actual Star Wars characters. So that's why I feel at this point, and this is going to go into my thoughts for Obi-Wan at this point too. I think Obi-Wan is going to be a failure because Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader are not Disney Star Wars characters. They're George Lucas Star Wars characters. So watch them get character assassinated too. The only characters that they seem to give a fuck about are the sequel trilogy and Mando.
Well, they're supposed to have that, Leia as well. There too, I believe, like a young Leia, I believe.
We'll see, I guess. And they'll probably further character assassinate the young Leia, like they did with old Leia in the sequel trilogy, with Leia Poppins.
Yeah, Superman.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's our official ratings. As I said, as an episode of The Mandalorian, this was great, 8 out of 10. As an episode of the Book of Boba Fett, I say a 0 out of 10. You?
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Because it's their characters, not George's. Hey, exactly, Red. Disney only. So this is what I propose to Disney. if you want to forsake Star Wars and George's characters, here's an idea. If you want to do your Star Wars stuff, do it. But let George do his Star Wars stuff with his characters too. So that way, we'll get the Lucas treatment released. Finally, at that point.
Hopefully, yeah.
So in other words, so that way we will get released the Lucas cut, if you will, or the Lucas treatment. I don't care what you guys want to call it. Treat the Star Wars movies and TV shows like you're treating the games right now. Let other people make them that want to. Because we got Ubisoft coming with Star Wars games. Now EA has recently announced that Respawn is going to be making 3 new Star Wars games, which we'll cover on Monday for the gaming podcast on Drew That Games here on YouTube. But yeah, because could you imagine, like, for example, like Paramount being allowed to develop a Star Wars TV show or movie for Paramount Plus, or Netflix allowed to do it? There would be a lot to pick from. It would benefit everybody, not just Disney, but of course Mickey Mouse wants to have his fucking monopoly, which is against federal regulations anyway.
No.
But the United States government doesn't give a shit about that. Which leads me to this statement, and this is breaking rock, so this is where you will hear me say it. Fuck Joe Biden.
Yep. Really.
So, with that in mind, I don't have anything else for the Book of Boba Fett other than this episode is worth watching because it's more of the Mandalorian series.
Yeah, same.
So, in regards to episode 6, you think that we're going to get like more of this with him going to find Grogu and Luke, right?
That's my speculation, yeah.
My speculation is that they're going to subvert our expectations and we'll get like more Boba Fett shit. And that they'll save that for the final episode. Just to try to recreate the joy of seeing Luke Skywalker at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Just to give people warm, fuzzy feelings at the end of the series going, look, it's Grogu and Luke. Like I said before with seeing Luke at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian, hanging something shiny in front of your face going, look, it's what you want. Never mind all this other shit that you've been seeing that's trash, but look at this good thing we're showing you right now. To try to distract you like you're a raccoon or a squirrel. Or something shiny. That's what I think they're going to do. They're going to save that or something like that for at the end of episode 7. And we're just going to get more stupid Boba Fett like laying on the ground going, woe is me, can I have some more credits, please? Ground, I mean the sand. While his Power Rangers are circling him like some weird Native American dance on their mopeds trying to protect him. Here's the thing, Red Hood. They're subverting your expectations in a good way, which is not something Disney has done ever with any of this. Because there's subverting your expectations like, oh, I thought you were going to go this way, but you went this way, but this way is just as good as what I wanted because I didn't know I wanted to go this way. type of situation. What would be a good example of that? I think.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can't think of any time off the top of my head where subverting your expectations was a good thing. Because all we really have fresh in our minds is every time that Disney has done it. Unfortunately. But there have been times in history where, actually, I can think of one way. Have you guys ever heard of Craig Ferguson? Okay. He used to be a late night talk show host for the Late Late Show. He's a stand-up comedian as well. He was born and raised in Scotland, but later became a citizen of the United States. Now, his type of comedy was like, for example, well, there's so many examples for his jokes. I just can't remember any of them. But his type of comedy was he usually leads you in one direction with a joke. Then he turns you back the other way, and it's funny, and you enjoyed it. With his jokes, he subverts your expectations the other way, but you still like it. That's the only example that I can come up with. Is like his style of jokes was subverting the expectations of where the punchline is going. So I guess a good subverting of your expectations for a joke would be something along the lines of, to borrow the story that you were talking about with the vibrating chairs here for just a minute. A guy and his girl go into the theater to watch a movie. They sit in their vibrating chairs. The movie wasn't too great, but one of them did enjoy themselves, and she certainly didn't. Fuck. The controller turned off just as I was getting to the subversion. So as I was saying, they were sitting in the chairs, they were vibrating. One of them had a great time and made a big mess, and she was pissed about it. That's subverting your expectations. Because you guys thought that she was going to be the one ejaculating all over the theater floor, but he did from the vibrating chairs. That's subverting your expectations in a good way, right?
Yeah.
Disney does not know how to subvert expectations. All they know how to do is make bullshit. Because how you subvert expectations is meant to be a good thing. But the Disney took it, they subverted the subverting of expectations. And they constantly do it. Welcome to Breaking Rocks, where we talk about when we're trying to review a Star Wars thing, ejaculating on a movie theater chair. But with all that in mind, anything else we can think of for the Book of Boba Fett before we get out of here?
Excuse me. All right. I was gonna say the thing was that little monster was pretty damn strong if she can pull that lady, that mechanic behind that engine block. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Because that damn little alien creature was basically the same size as BD1. If that really was BD1 though, but yeah, he was like the same size as that, and he was able to pull like what is it, a 5'4" woman behind an engine block.
I'm gonna have to see a side-by-side comparison to see if they look the same. Because if they look the same, then I am willing to go on. It's the same droid then at that point. But if they look a little different, then I'm willing to let it go that wasn't even him. But I'll probably come back next week with information on that at that point, because as a Gryffindor seeking out as a Ravenclaw, if you're familiar with the Harry Potter series, Ravenclaws seek out information and want to know what the fuck is going on, generally speaking. So, and that's something that I've always done before taking that little test that you sent me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be back with information next week, because that's what Ravenclaws do. We go digging for the truth and tell you what we find. I'm not sure what your Harry Potter class does.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't care. Not about my class.
What is yours?
It's a Hufflepuff. It's Hufflepuff.
What do Hufflepuffs do?
I guess I don't know.
I
haven't watched Harry Potter and like checked it out in a while, so it's just like kind of like.
I'm gonna look into that, because I'm curious. Because I'm a Ravenclaw. That's what we do when a question enters our mind. We want to know the answer. So I will look that up after we get done with the stream, so that way you also know what the hell's going on with you. And so I know what's going on in your head too.
Yeah.
What's that? All right.
What about the kitchen?
Red Hood. we love you, man.
Just at the
Hufflepuff dorm. Oh dear. But
also the what is it? The Naboo Starfighter.
Yeah.
I think with the Naboo Starfighter was pretty cool, but it's just I don't know. It's just I don't know. I was expecting that. I'm like, okay, Naboo Starfighter.
I was expecting like another like larger ship that she had gotten for him or whatnot,
or some type of different ship instead of just like the Naboo Starfighter. Okay, I guess we'll go with it.
I guess, like, if I think about it, I probably would have been expecting like an X-Wing or something, maybe. To like play it safe, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe. Or some type of new ship that nobody has ever heard of. I don't know. Which, I don't know.
Yeah, but either way, we'll see what happens with episode 6. And like I said earlier, I'm going to film my reaction, not live, but film it and upload it to episode 6. You guys won't see or hear the episode in the video. You'll just hear me and see the reaction on my face of what's happening on the screen in front of me here for next Wednesday. And obviously I will be trying to watch that before we do this on Wednesday morning to afternoon as well. So expect my reaction to hopefully be uploaded like right after the episode drops and I watch it, like in the wee hours in the morning. And then you guys can watch that while waiting for this next Wednesday. For us to review number 6.
I'm just learning that they have this new Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. I'm looking at one of the pictures and it's got.
Yeah, that was announced like back in 2017 or 16 or something like that.
They're able to pre-order it now. And they got BB-8. They got freaking Kylo Ren. They got Rey
Yeah.
on it. Like,
Yeah. It goes from episode 1 of the prequels all the way through to the Fall of Skywalker. And I'm not going to waste my time with it because it involves the trilogy that no one gives a fuck about at this point.
But does have Mandalorian packs in it, though. Oh, I don't know.
That's it's still not worth it because there's so much better stuff potentially coming from Respawn in the future. Like, we know that Jedi Fallen Order is coming. That's been confirmed now by EA. And then also there's Respawn by way of the creative director from the original Battlefront series working on a Star Wars FPS. So from the mastermind of the original Battlefront games, yeah, there's a Star Wars first-person shooter going to be coming from Respawn Entertainment as well, and then an RTS as well, which is obviously a strategy game in the style of XCOM, but with Star Wars paint on it. So we'll see what all of that brings. I'm more interested in the FPS from the creative mind of Pandemic's Battlefront games, and then obviously Jedi Fallen Order 2. Exactly, Red Hood. But with that in mind, next time you'll see me is later on tonight on Twitch to play some of The Witcher. After this, I'm going to do a little research, then eat and lay down for a few hours. What are you up to after this?
Probably going to go eat and probably do a little work here, and that's about it. I'll probably try and stream here sometime this week or this weekend. I'll try, but...
Before we plug our shit when we get out of here, I do want to say this. To all of you who follow Judat Games on Twitch, the channel would not be monetized now without every last single one of you. So all of you, Red Hood, Joshy, thank you.
Thank you, too.
And now to anyone who will see this later and to Red Hood in the chat, let's get Joshy there now.
Yeah. I haven't been streaming in a bit, though. That's the thing.
But still, you are a part of the... I really shouldn't call us the Judat Games team because that's really me. I feel like we need to start calling ourselves like under a different name, like the three of us, like you, me, Desert Norrin, and Chunk the Punk. We'll talk about that off stream, though.
All right.
But with all that in mind... You can find me as Judat Games with 2 S's over on Twitch. And on the Twitch channel, the link to this channel and the gaming channel on YouTube is also there, as well as to my Twitter, I think, as well. But otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter as dad_Drew. Judat Games with 1 S on YouTube. Judat Entertainment, the channel you're watching right now. And occasionally you might hear me when all of the tech works on Joshy's Twitch channel as well. Right?
Yeah.
And you also got a Twitter?
I got Twitter, yeah. I got Twitter and Twitch.
That's Joshy.
That's
Joshy064 for everything. You can find us both on Xbox Live, me on PlayStation Network, and both of us on the Nintendo Switch as well as on Discord. Well, are you on Discord?
I do have a Discord, but I hardly use it.
Okay. Yeah,
I can see my Discord going off like every 5 minutes or whatnot, though, but I just don't pay attention to it, though.
Yeah, I only pay attention to it to see if Chunk the Punk said something because he is on Discord. But with all of that in mind, thank you, Red Hood. We appreciate you for being here with us. Thank you to you who will watch this after the fact. Hopefully tonight is the night that I finally earn one of your subscriptions on the Twitch channel. But with that in mind, I'll see you guys tonight for The Witcher 3 tonight. And with that in mind, fuck Beta Fett, fuck Disney and Lucasfilm. Raylos are weird. Fuck Naughty Dog, as you see by the shirt I'm wearing right now. And may the Force be with us, because we damn sure need it. And we will see you guys later. Have a great afternoon or evening or whatever time it is in your region. And we'll see you guys later. Bye for now.